You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now on the Mo Kelly Show, it's Tiffany Hobbs, the viral load. She'll speak of all the viral things social media can bring. Facebook, Insta, X, TikTok, the viral load with Tiffany Hobbs. Viral load, viral load, the viral load. Viral load with Tiffany Hobbs.
KFI AM 640, YouTube, and the iHeartRadio app, and Instagram Live. It's Later with Mo Kelly. Let's get to the viral load with Tiffany Hobbs.
Let's get to it. You've been talking about automation. Our very first story actually involves artificial intelligence. And it's not Waymo. It's not some sort of robotic, whatever it may be. In this case, ChatGPT was used to do something that a human absolutely should have done. And the human who used ChatGPT is being held responsible for a huge guffaw. So what happened is the Chicago Sun-Times, a major newspaper, publishes a summer reading list. They have a compilation of books that they encourage people to read. And in this compilation of 15 books, it was found out when people perused the list that most of these books actually did not exist.
The venerable Chicago Sun-Times.
Yes, that Chicago Sun-Times. So just to further explain, in their Sunday edition, they published this summer reading list with the titles, authors, and descriptions of 15 books. But it turns out that 10 of the 15 books actually are not real. The names of the authors, those are real, but the titles, again, are not. So how could that possibly happen? Well, one of the employees at the Chicago Sun-Times decided to enlist ChatGPT.
There you go, Mark.
By saying, hey, make me a list of recommended reading material. And this ChatGPT bot kicked back all of these titles. Now, this employee published the list without checking.
AI and journalism, I tell you, do not go together.
Can you imagine? So the partner to the newspaper confirmed that a freelancer used AI to write this article. And of course, the Chicago Sun-Times has issued a very urgent apology because its readers are up in arms. How could you do that? This is compromising the integrity of the newspaper. It says as well that the subscribers will not be charged their annual or their monthly subscription for that specific edition because of this huge mistake, and that they're updating their policy to ensure that this never happens again. Again, the list features authors that really exist.
I got to ask you,
but these titles do not.
This is rhetorical, but I have to ask, this has probably been done before by the Chicago Sun-Times. Using AI to help getting stuff done, right?
And they just didn't get caught.
Right.
So, and it makes you wonder as well, and it makes you start to question other publications, because if the Chicago Sun-Times is doing it, who's to say that other major or minor papers, publications, journalistic ventures aren't using AI? We know they are.
Well, they're using it in college. They're using it to high school. They're using it to write papers. They're using it to write news stories. We know that, and that's what is above board and has been sanctioned.
Yes.
Now we have to wonder, like, what they're doing underneath the table.
Yeah, and the Chicago Sun-Times Guild released a statement because of all this pressure on them to atone for this huge journalistic sin. And they said, quote, "We take pride in the union-produced journalism that goes into the respected pages of our newspaper and on our website. We are deeply disturbed that AI-generated content was printed alongside our work." The creator of the list, Marco Buscaglia, confirmed that he did use AI to generate this list and said he usually checks, but this time he didn't.
Run him out of journalism forever.
Right.
That
is an unforgivable sin in the world of journalism. It really is.
Excommunicate his ass promptly.
That is worse than plagiarism when you're just making it up.
Yeah.
And that's straight up laziness.
Straight up laziness. Yeah. Absolutely.
It was avoidable. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. Our next story is a sad story, but it does have a very heartwarming ending. Mo, you're a dog lover. I'm a dog lover. Many of us are. We love our pets, be them dogs or otherwise. And unfortunately, as we know, and as you've spoken about, I believe this week, in fact, Mo, on the Mo Kelly Show, that our time with our pets is not finite. There is a very limited amount of time that we have with these pets. And for dogs, especially, often we know the signs that they are getting to the end, and you're faced with the decision of what you want to do to transition them out of this life and into the next, perhaps. Well, of course, when you are faced with that decision and you know your pet's last days are coming, you might want to make those last days especially comfortable, fun, loving. You might want to make sure that they have their favorite meal or some special treat. Well, there's one person, his name is Hunter Metzger. He's from Pennsylvania, and his dog, unfortunately, Great Dane named Iris, was suffering from a major health issue, and they decided to put Iris down, to euthanize Iris. But instead of kind of taking a simple route, they decided to go all out, and they contacted their local Texas Roadhouse restaurant to ask that Texas Roadhouse prepare a final meal. Texas Roadhouse absolutely said yes, and they prepared it with love. They wrote all over the container that the steak came in. It was an 8-pound thick cut New York strip steak fries, mashed potatoes, and freshly baked bread. And when Hunter went to pick it up for Iris, everyone in the restaurant came to meet him there, gave him hugs, gave him love. And once he got back in the car and later that evening, he saw that the entire meal was refunded, and he posted it on Facebook, and it has gone viral. The pictures are beautiful, not only of the meal, but of his dog Iris. May she rest in peace. And she enjoyed that last steak dinner.
That's a very nice story. It's sad. But yeah, I try not to think about finite nature of my pets' lives, but it's an inescapable thought.
It is. And I am like you. It is the last thing I want to think of. But I do know that I would love to be able to provide some sort of transition like this.
Yeah.
So in the second half, we're going to get into Chili's and TGI Fridays are at war. We'll talk about that. I know. Strange. What? And then also, if you're feeling some neck strain from looking at all this social media and these viral stories, I'll give you some tips on how to ease that pain right here on the Viral Load.
She's Tiffany Hobbs. It's later with Mo Kelly. More of the Viral Load in just a moment. KFI AM 640, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app and YouTube.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now it's time for the Viral Load with Tiffany. Live on KFI is Later with Mo Kelly. She'll talk about the top hits on social media. The Viral Load with Tiffany Hobbs.
KFI, Instagram, YouTube, iHeartRadio app. It's later with Mo Kelly. Let's continue with the Viral Load and Tiffany Hobbs.
Mo, if you had to choose between Chili's and TGI Fridays, what would you choose?
Gosh, it'd probably be neither. I haven't been to either in so long, but let me just say TGI Fridays. I went there more than any place else.
The ironic thing in talking about automation in the last couple of segments is that Chili's actually uses those automated servers, kind of like a tower. It's a robotic tower delivery
Denny's.
system.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Denny's as well. We're not talking about the automation in this story. This is actually between two humans, and it's something that AI probably couldn't do, or at least not do as well as these two humans have done. So with major businesses, major brands, there are often social media managers. There's someone behind the scenes responding to people, posting things on social media, interacting with the customer base. And in this case, you have Chili's on one end, or at one end of the rink, and you have TGI Fridays, both restaurants, at the other end of the rink, and they are at war. They're not fighting physically. They are feuding online via their social media managers. And what are they feuding over? Politics? No. The price of gas? No. They're feuding over mozzarella sticks. And of course, this feud has gone absolutely viral. On May 14th, TGI Fridays, we'll just call it Fridays from here on out, used their official X/Twitter account to post a message targeting Chili's mozzarella sticks. They said, quote, "Somebody tell Chili's to stay in their lane. Ooh, the gloves are off." Fridays wrote back, "Y'all," these are the social media managers, right? "Y'all are not mozzarella stick people. We are. That's it. That's the tweet." The next day, this feud continued and more eyes were paying attention. People are tuning into this. And Chili's decided to respond by saying, "Hey, at us next time. Also, we honestly didn't know you were still open. Congrats." So they've been going back and forth.
It's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny. And Fridays actually responded a few days ago and they said, "Is the cheese pool challenge accepted or nah?" Challenging Chili's to a mozzarella stick competition. So shots fired all around. In the comments of this Twitter/X feud between Chili's and TGI Fridays, of course, fans are weighing in on what side they're going to choose.
I got to say, no one is better at this corporate social media warfare than Wendy's.
Yes, I was just about to say that.
Wendy's wins by a mile. Oh. They set the tone for everyone else now. They're trying to be like
brutal.
That. Oh, yeah. And whoever is managing their account, this is one person or 8 people.
Incredible.
They deserve a raise. Because they've changed the business. Because it used to be very stoic and very corporate.
Yes.
And very
all it ever was just talking about their menu.
Yeah.
Now they actually go back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
They feud and they're good at it. That's the thing. So other accounts, of course, other brands are getting into this, and it is entertaining for the customers and non-customers alike to watch and partake in. All right. If you find yourself using your technology, your cell phone, your laptop, whatever it may be, and you are just mindlessly scrolling, we call it doom scrolling, for hours every day, even broken up into segments of 20 minutes here, 10 minutes there, but you're in the same position, kind of hunched over, sitting down, looking at your phone with your neck kind of craned in a way that is a bit unnatural, you might be suffering from something called tech neck. And this is going viral. So what is tech neck? Tech neck is basically you bending yourself over to look at your phone.
Hey, it's a family. Oh, I thought you were going to say something else. I'm sorry. Thought it was, never mind.
It also can happen with reading books. So imagine the position that we're all in right now, actually at the table here in the studio. We're sitting, but if we were to sit in this position and look down at technology for any length of time, we might start to feel a strain. And that only is exacerbated if you're doing it day in and day out. And of course, these pains are talked about online. They are viral. People discuss how pain is really a byproduct of technology. Technology has made life easier, but pain comes with that as well. And over 60% of smartphone users report musculoskeletal pain, primarily affecting the neck and back. And recent research.
My back. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's a song I like.
Recent research absolutely connects the usage of smartphones and other technology to this pain. So if you're experiencing aching pain in your back, headaches, widespread pain and stiffness in the neck and shoulders, you can do these 3 things. You can fix screen time positioning. You can sit up. You can stretch yourself. You can hold your technology up at eye level versus bending over to look. You can perform tech neck stretches, still a family show, and you can do strengthening exercises to improve your posture. But tech neck is absolutely a thing. People are talking about it online, and it's viral.
Any type of repetitive movement or locking your body in a certain position for extended periods of time is going to cause pain, discomfort, injury. It doesn't matter. We sit at our desks too long. You have back problems. You have hip problems. I mean, if you stay in bed too long, you'll have those same problems. So it kind of makes sense. But now we're actually shedding light on our phone habits, how they are killing us.
Mm-hmm. And I would love for people to lock themselves into position Saturday evening from 5 to 7 p.m. so you can hear me right here on what's my show's name? Saturdays with Tiffany. I was going to say later with Mo Kelly.
Great transition and tease, and then you lost control of the car and ended up in a ditch.
It's a Waymo. Hey, Saturdays with Tiffany, 5 to 7 p.m. I'll also be filling in Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m.
I see what you did there. That was a nice callback.
There you go.
So wait, Sunday from 2 to 4
Sunday from 2 to 4. I've been working the last couple of Sundays. It's been a blast. Please join me. I'm exhausted, but you won't know. Lots of energy.
You got 2 days now.
2 days and a full-time job in the middle. So there you go.
All right. Good for you.
Good for me.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Oh, Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. And I just want to talk about something different than what I planned to talk about because it's real important. At the end of last segment, Tiffany Hobbs, who was talking about how she had gone from 1 day to 2 days here on KFI. She started off doing Saturdays kind of as needed every now and then, here and there, to getting her own show, Saturday show. And then to broaden to Sunday as well, at least for the time being. And that's also in addition to her 5-day-a-week job. I want to be able to give you your flowers in advance because people don't always see or understand the amount of work that you put in and people more generally put into this job. It is not easy. You have to not want to do it. You have to love doing it. And I tell you and other people all the time, your success is my success because you have been dutiful. You have been diligent in getting better at your craft. You've put in the time. And it's nice to be able to see your growth, not only in your craft, but also on the station. We have some very nice messages from listeners, and I should say viewers in the YouTube chat shouting your praises. And that makes me feel really, really good because I know from whence you had come. So I just want to just shout you out and say, yes, I notice. I've been watching and I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I didn't mean to make you cry. I'm just saying,
We're on friggin' camera and I'm crying. I forgot. I said, oh, shoot, they can see me crying now.
But okay, I'll fill up the time with me talking. If you know me and I say that you know me, I take this radio thing real seriously.
You do.
I don't take myself seriously. I take what I do seriously. I put a lot of time and effort. There's not a day in which I don't come in before 4 o'clock. Usually, I'm usually here about 3 hours before I'm on air, trying to prepare as best a show as I could. You have a similar work ethic.
Yes.
And people always say, like, you know my glory, you don't know my story.
Yes.
You were a listener, and you've made the transition to being a talk show host.
Yes.
And there are plenty of people out there say, well, I can do that too. It's like, no, you can't. And you know you can't because you put in the work. You know how difficult it is. Yeah. And you're dealing with the news that's just right in front of you. Yeah, if I were to come in and just talk about whatever I want, having nothing to do with news, yeah, that'd be really easy. But I got to talk about Karen Bass. I have to talk about what's happening after the Eaton fire. You got to talk about the budget. You got to talk about, you have to be interesting and funny all the time. It's really difficult. What were you going to say, Stephanie?
No, I like your take on it where everyone has one show. Mm-hmm. Even if it's 3 or 4 hours, however long, but it's doing it daily. As far as, you know, we know how hard she works. I mean, it's doing this, it's doing her regular job and the weekend.
Right.
So
a couple of people.
It's not easy.
I can't say it was just one radio personality who told this to me, but I've been told by a number of radio personalities. The hardest thing about radio is that you as the host don't matter. And I didn't get that. And then I figured it out over the course of years. I could have a horrible day. No one gives a damn. Work harder.
Yeah.
I could have something going on at home. My wife and I could have been fighting or something. Doesn't matter. And I say it doesn't matter because people tune in. They're giving of their time. They're giving of their attention. And it's very personal. It's an intimate medium where you don't let just anyone in your car as you're going to work or you're going home. You don't just let anyone in your earbuds when you're in the gym working out. You have to earn their time each and every night, each and every week. And you can't bring that other stuff from the outside world into your show. You could be sleepy. You could not be feeling your best. And if you work long enough in this business, you will deal with all those things. Like, anything could have happened. I could be distracted. Me personally, I could be distracted with my pets. One could be sick or something, or I'm worried about my mother, or when my father was living, I was worried about his health difficulties. That's not something I can bring on the air.
You can't. You can maybe touch on it like you are now, but the focus is not on you.
We don't matter.
You don't. You check it at the door.
You have to, and it is strange. It's almost counterintuitive. It's like, wait a minute, it's called Later with Mo Kelly. How can talking to the third person, how is it that Mo Kelly can't matter? Because you're not tuning in for me to just dump all my problems at your feet.
Correct.
We're supposed to be interesting and entertaining, and that's damn hard to do on a day in, day out basis. So I salute you. I'm not saying that you're going through a whole lot of drama. I'm saying you like everyone else, is carrying a load when you have a 5-day-a-week job.
And in my other job, it's the same format. I am there to deliver information. I'm a teacher, and my students understand me as a person, but I have to check my emotions at the door, as I encourage them to do as well. You're human, and you'll have your moments, but you're there ultimately to serve and to give them something. It's a product. Education is a product. Radio is a product.
It's a great point. It's almost like a franchise in the sense that if I get a McDonald's hamburger in LA, it should taste pretty much like a McDonald's in New York City or Chicago or New Mexico. If someone should listen to me or to Tiffany on a Monday night, Tuesday night, they should know about what they're going to get. If they're actually listening, at least quality of presentation. It should be consistent. It shouldn't be like, gosh, Mo seemed like he just woke up.
Right. And that's where it's hard and it is challenging. And to be good at it, you have to keep that at the forefront of your mind.
You want to say stuff?
The chat room is blowing up of how proud they are of you, Tiffany.
Oh,
everyone's just telling you. And then there's one comment that I saw, and I agree with this. Tiffany is on an upward trajectory.
Yes.
They are like beyond proud of you.
Thank you. It means so much. It really does. I from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
So keep growing, keep striving, keep consistency, because if I've learned anything in this business, yesterday's show does not count. Because someone might have heard you, let's say last Saturday, and they said, oh, wow, I really like this Tiffany Hobbs host. I got to tune into her again. And then next week you come in and lay an egg. You've lost that person. You probably won't get it back. So the consistency, I think, is the most difficult part. The energy is the second most difficult part. When you say, like, it's easy to listen to a show for 3 hours. It's damn hard to put a 3-hour show on.
Correct.
and keeping your energy up and being as involved in your own show.
Yep.
Much less anyone else. I have to care about it more than anyone else.
And like you said, people just think, oh, you work 3 hours a day.
No. No.
I'm still told that's like, you have no idea. Look, there are people who can come in 5 minutes before their show and just do a show and be great at it. I'm not one of those people. I actually have to make sure that I'm as well informed on the subjects that I'm going to talk about. I am practiced. I will never be considered one of those naturals. No.
I've gotten emails from you and Tawala at like 9 a.m.
And we're planning the show.
And you're planning the show.
Yeah. And it may change over the course of the day, but the planning of what we plan to do is a day-long endeavor. We may be booking guests as early as 7 a.m, and then we come do the show at 7 o'clock at night. And then after I leave here, I may have other things that you don't care about. I may be doing a hit for cable news, either in the morning or at night. I'm doing BBC late at night. They don't care.
Handle tomorrow morning.
That's right. I'll be doing Handle tomorrow morning. Nobody cares. I'm not saying like I want sympathy. I'm saying people don't see what goes on behind the scenes. I see what's going on behind the scenes. And I'm saying, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud to be a part of this team.
But you can't have my show.
I am coming for your show. I'm proud. That's
the truth. There's always somebody coming. There's always somebody
You've
coming.
taught me well, and I am forever in gratitude. Thank you.
Look, if there's anyone who embodies my 3 principles, it's you. Be humble. Be hungry. When I say be humble, it's like there's always more to learn. There's always things that you can do better. And I think about it when I air check myself. Oh, I could have done that tease better.
Oh, yeah.
Or I could have laid out that story better. I kind of rushed over. I skipped those things. So be humble in what you do. Be hungry. In other words, be confident that no one can outwork you. That's what I mean by be hungry. And also be a student of your craft.
Yes.
If I listen to other people, it's like, oh, I like what they did. How did they do that? How did they tell that joke so well? You're always hopefully improving. Hopefully, because if you're not improving, that means you're getting worse.
Correct.
And I think about you, Mo, too, and I have that philosophy as well, where the reason you work so hard is because someone is willing to come in here and do it for cheaper.
Yeah. There's someone half my age who's willing to do it for half the money.
Yep.
And will work possibly twice as hard.
Yep.
Now, the only thing that I can control, because I'm getting older and my monetary demands are not getting smaller, is to continuously work harder. That's the only thing I can control. There will always be someone who's 27, 28 who's willing to do it for minimum wage. I'm quite sure they can find someone who will do this job for minimum wage. So it's incumbent upon me to make it not worth the station's while to entertain that.
Exactly. And you do.
Keep shining.
Thank you. You too.
It's later with Mo Kelly. We're going to check in with George Norrie and then have my final thought. And get this. It has to do with O.J. Simpson. O.J.? Yes. O.J. Because for some reason, he's back in the news.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's later with Mo Kelly. Let's check in with George Norrie and find out what's coming up on Coast to Coast AM. George, how you doing, sir?
Mo, I'm doing great. We've got a super show for you tonight. We're going to talk about Alcatraz. Is that going to open up as a prison? How to calm people down when they go crazy? And later on, prophecy on Coast to Coast.
Well, if people don't calm down, I guess we can put them in Alcatraz.
They'll never get out.
That's true. It's going to cost a pretty penny to refurbish it, but I'm quite sure you'll cover that tonight.
You got it.
Before we get out of here, I previewed my final thought, and it has to do with OJ. And you're probably thinking like, OJ? Yeah, that was my question. Isn't OJ dead? I thought that Orenthal James Simpson was dead. You mean we, as in America, we're still obsessing over all things OJ? Well, it seems that way. Jennifer Peace, who says she was dating OJ's close friend Al Cowlings at the time of the murders, claims Al told her that OJ had told him that he committed the double murder. And I'm thinking, like, this matters? Question mark? I have no idea. This was on the landing page of Radar Online. Somewhat reputable. Not completely, but somewhat. Homepage. Breaking news, supposedly. At this point, I really don't understand the obsession. The killer of Casey Anthony's child, according to Casey Anthony, is still out there. In fact, Casey recently joined TikTok and is peddling her wares as a quote-unquote legal advocate. Get the F out of here. But nobody cares. Well, that's not exactly true. Everything I read says that Casey Anthony is doing very well financially since her acquittal. Casey is still alive. Nobody really cares or is reporting on her. You can do the search on your own. Look up Casey Anthony and see how few stories come up about her. And she's doing very well financially. Nobody's writing any stories about who might have said something to someone about something 3 people removed regarding Casey Anthony. And she is cashing in on her notoriety and infamy. Notoriety only connected to her beating the rap for murdering her own child, allegedly. No outrage. Nothing. But I know OJ was trial of the century, as in last century. We are more than a quarter away through this century. And nobody cares about Robert Blake killing his ex-wife. And he was literally at the scene of the crime when his ex-wife was murdered. The prosecution didn't even have to prove Blake was around when his ex-wife was murdered. Robert Blake literally drove Bonnie Lee Bakley to the murder scene, walked away from the car, came back, and coincidentally, oh my goodness, ex-wife dead. He beat the rap. He ended up hanging out with karaoke singers like me at the Sportsman's Lodge in Studio City, eating dinner at 4 p.m. like most old people do, and nobody said boo. Nobody wrote any stories about him. No one was upset about anything. Nobody was asking ex-girlfriends he was not even a topic for discussion. And speaking of Blake, I had someone reach out to me, true story, a few months ago. And that person wanted to tell me, and this is real, I don't want to use his name, but he was saying that people cared just as much about Robert Blake as they did OJ. Mind you, at the time, the person didn't even know that Robert Blake was already dead. That's my point. They supposedly care, but don't know the basics. The obsession with OJ is beyond strange now. People under the age of 40 have zero firsthand memory of the trial or the murders. Now, they may know about it because of the subsequent coverage, but they don't remember it. And get this Jennifer Peace person, who just happens to also be a former porn star, probably was paid handsomely for telling this story, which is 2 people removed in terms of hearsay. And it's not even the first time she's told this story. I mean, I understood the fixation while OJ was alive, but not now, not this late into this century. There are no more stories to tell, no more documentaries to make. These outlets are literally recycling the same stories and re-interviewing the same people and getting the exact same information. Here's how I know. This from the Radar Online story. Quote, this is not the first time that Jennifer Peace, who used to do adult films under the name Devon Shire, has told this story. A September 12, 1994 story published by UPI reported about Peace claiming, quote, Cowlings told her Simpson acted in a blind rage when he killed his wife, close quote. Well, then why are you re-reporting the exact same information, and why are people still interviewing this person to only get the stuff she said exactly 35 years ago? It's kind of rhetorical. The obsession with all things OJ is something I'll never understand. I have my suspicions. Don't get me wrong. I have my suspicions. But we should be beyond the obsession at this point. Everybody's dead. Everybody's dead. There's nothing new to share, nothing new to tell. There are still high-profile murderers still walking around and profiting off their fame as an acquitted murderer, Casey Anthony. But it's time to let him go. It's time to let them die and let Nicole and Ron rest. For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly.
Chock full of stimulating talk. KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.